sound like more was coming out.
I know. Well, you know what? There was more, actually.
What happened?
I'm so happy to see you. I've been texting you like a crazy person because I've just been excited to see you.
I'm excited to see you as well. And we keep saying every time you're here, it's just too short and we need to spend more time together.
It's true.
Let's talk. First of all, I forget, because I know you now and I didn't really, obviously I saw you in movies, but I forget what your life was. And it's a bestseller, so congratulations.
I just found out. I'm so excited. Thank you.
And like I said, I forget about all these stories, and I love that you are sharing these.
Thank you.
I mean, first of all, you were emancipated from your parents at 14,
Yep.
which is crazy.
I mean, it seems crazy now, especially as a parent, but at the time it was a really necessary thing for me and my mom, and we were actually incredibly gracious about it with each other. And she was there, and it was something we needed to do. It was where our journey had taken us at that moment. And it didn't make either of us bad people. It just was what it was.
Well, it certainly didn't make you. You're 14 years old. So,
yeah.
So how was your mom about this book, that you wrote this book?
She loves it. Mm-hmm. I gave her a copy. We've talked about it very intimately. And I have to say, it was such an extraordinary year of my life writing this book. I came to terms with so many things. It's a love letter to my daughters, and writing as a mother now myself. And it was just, I found humor in places I didn't have it before. I had a new perspective where it was different, and it was very revelatory for me. And I laughed as I was writing, and I was like, and then I cried my eyes out as I was writing some stuff. I couldn't even see the keys on the typewriter. And I thought, if any of this comes through, then I'll have done a job that I was hoping to do.
Well, the stories are amazing, and you don't call it a memoir. You're just sharing certain stories. But I mean,
that's right.
Meeting Steven Spielberg, and you were, how old at the first? Six years old.
And I lied to him. I lied my face off. I told him I was in a rock and roll band. I was a drummer, of course, because drummers are the coolest. And that I was a cook, and funny enough, I went to meet on a movie called Poltergeist, and the director, Toby Hooper, wasn't there that day, but Steven, who was the producer, was filling in for him, and I felt like I had him in my butterfly net. I was so excited. Like, Pippi Longstocking was my hero, so like I just felt like girls can do anything. There's no ceiling, and I sold myself and like told my little stories, and I was like, and he was like, you know what? You're not right for this. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, but I'm making another movie, and I think you should come audition for that. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, sure. I'm sure he won't call. And he did, and I went in for it, and it was a movie called This Boy's Life. And after numerous auditions, I got that, which later became a different title called E.T. So, crazy.
I want to get to there's a lot of stories. So there's another story about your dad, who was equally, you said they were really, some people maybe aren't meant to be parents.
Yep.
And it's not their fault, but they had a child, and your dad was a very free spirit.
Very free.
Did not like to bathe.
Nope. He did with lemons and olive oil.
Okay.
He felt the lemons were the cleansing and the olive oil was the moisturizing. He was like a human salad. And he was very charismatic and odd, and I just appreciated him from afar.
Yeah, because he wasn't a part of your life.
Yeah.
He left when your mom was pregnant.
Yeah.
So then you were in hospice with him when he was passing.
He got cancer, and I had a very rare turn of events where I got to take care of him for 3 years in a hospice. And
then after he died, you have to tell this story.
We put his ashes in Joshua Tree. He loved Joshua Tree, and I had spent a bunch of time with him there whenever I visited him. Like if he had an address at all, it was Joshua Tree. Which, if you know Joshua Tree, there's no houses there. So we took his ashes there, and I went to this little motel, and I was sleeping until we were all going to wake up and spread the ashes. And I felt a thing, and I sat up in my bed, and the doorknob of my room opened, and the door just opened. And I just sat up in bed, and I was like, Dad? It was a moment where you can have hope about anything being possible, and it was a very unique moment.
Amazing, amazing. There's so many stories in here like that. There's jumping off a cruise ship and swimming to an island, like crazy stories.
Yeah, I jumped off a ship. I had to get out of there.
Yeah, well,
I really had it. And,
yes, we've all felt that, but not jumped off the ship. So. It is a love story. It's a beautiful movie, but it's, well, tell everyone what it's about.
Well, it's about two lifelong best girlfriends, and one of them is trying to have a baby, my character, and one of them is has cancer. And it is a very unique story, and I'm very proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's very touching, and there are moments that you're sobbing, but it's beautiful, and that's a testament to how well it's done, that you get so caught up in this friendship. And you almost didn't do it because you had just had Frankie.
I did. Which is, was in a way, you always think the worst timing is going to just be the worst timing, and sometimes in turn I was playing this woman who was trying to make a baby, and she's struggling with IVF to go through it, and I had just made 2 children, so I was in just this yummy baby-making body, and, in some ways, because I also had this sort of, I'm going to come here and do my job and get home to my children, I had this, like, backbone that I've never had in other films, and it's exactly what my character needed, because she really was that kind of pillar of strength friend. And I thought, you know what, I want my daughters to see a story like this someday, so here we go, we're going to take the risk to do this.
And they're precious daughters, your Olive and Frankie.
They love you. Olive said hello in an email to you.
She did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
She didn't like me last time. She was mad at me last time.
Well, she's very moody. We've talked about this.
But they're adorable. Frankie and Olive. And the names, how do you go wrong with Frankie and Olive? Miss You Already opens in theaters today. Drew's book, Wildflower, is in stores now. You're all going home with a copy today.